So on December 8th, 1863, President Lincoln issues a proclamation of amnesty and Reconstruction, pardoning participants in the existing rebellion if they take an oath of loyalty to the Union. They take an oath of loyalty to the Union. Here's some wood engraving. I don't know if you can tell. Wood engraving. Harper's Weekly. But there's another one that I want to show you. It's just really, just kind of kept looking at it because this is children amid the ruins of Charleston, South Carolina, one of the many southern cities ravaged by the war, April 1865. So this is liberation, freedom. And it's kind of a, you're free now, black man, to live as you please. But they're children. The guy's taking a picture. They're in squalor. They're poor. Everything's all torn to hell. But they're free. They're not slaves anymore. The Civil War is going to end slavery, but the Reconstruction, the South is going to occupy the federal government. The United States of Amerika is going to occupy itself in the South till 1877. So for 11 years... 12 years after the Civil War's Reconstruction, but then they lifted the federal occupation, and then the black man was left to fend for himself. So you got 12 years, kid. You got 12 years. You're going to have the protection of your government, but you better get your shit together. You got 12 years. So it's like both I'm happy and sad, because it's like it was to free, the black folks, the Civil War, to end slavery, to keep America together. But halfway through the war, it's like, well, shit, we're already on the right side anyway, so why not just be on God's side? Why not be on the eternal, the great, the wonderful, the incredible side? And so when people talk about Nazis or Confederates or the fucking British redcoats, you would have been a Confederate. You're for black folks being slaves to white folks. Black folks having to slave all the livelong day on plantations. Yeah, fuck you, Confederate fucking. That's why I'm all about America. USA! 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 So yeah, it's just... And I wonder who they are. What happened to them? What happened to them? And they say they're children, but one, he looks like he's like... I don't know, 12 or something, so he's getting older. But they got 12 years, right? And then they still, we still got racist issues today. But the federal troops, Lincoln's troops, America's troops is going to be in Charleston, Virginia, or South Carolina for 12 more years. Anyways. Today was the Proclamation. So I just thought that picture is interesting. Also by a column. And it looked like they fucked Charleston, South Carolina up, didn't they? So the Proclamation of Amnesty and whatever. On December 8th, 1863, President Lincoln introduced his first plan for Reconstruction, the Proclamation of Amnesty and Reconstruction. This announcement offered a full pardon to those individuals that took an oath of loyalty and accepted the abolition of slavery. It also promised the restoration of all rights of property except as to slaves, meaning that all landholdings and homes would be restored to members of the Confederacy with the exception of enslaved people. Interesting. So you get your property back, you get your house back. This proclamation was part of Lincoln's 10% plan, a strategy that allowed Confederate states to rejoin the Union when 10% of its voters swore an oath of allegiance to the Constitution. 10%? That's not enough. I mean, I guess because they militarily pound them into fucking submission, it's like, well, if we can get at least 10% of them to be like, you know what, we're kind of cool with it. Lincoln likely never intended the 10% plan to serve as a comprehensive blueprint for Reconstruction since the war was still ongoing. Instead, it was a preliminary effort meant to shorten the conflict and cement white support for emancipation by presenting rebels with a choice. Surrender enabled the retention of land. However, Confederate states refused because it meant the end of slavery. WhiteHouseHistory.org. It's in engraving depicts the first reading of the Emancipation Proclamation. 2%. Okay, so happy December 8th.